Hello everybody, got some quite absurd and unhinged games for you guys today. Specifically, two of them are against Crystron, the new deck to beat, the new tier 1 top deck. One of them I play into Maxx and the other one is completely off the hinges and deranged. So I hope you guys are gonna enjoy that. But before we do that, I'm gonna quickly go over the deck list. Here's my deck list for the video. However, Maliss was just announced, so I would rather make some changes for you guys so you don't copy bad deck list for the current meta. This is gonna be my deck list for a bit, probably. Maybe I try a Ghost Ogre instead of an Effect Veiler, and then you guys can cut Chain Resonator on Atrii. But I'll just go over all the cards here. So we have 3 Effect Veilers, a Synchron Resonator, a Chain Resonator, 2 Maxx, a Crimson Resonator, 2 Vision Resonator, 3 Ash Blossoms, 2 Soul Resonator, an Obsessive Uvua Loop, 3 Bone Archfiend, we have Centur-ion Primite, Centur-ion Tudea, Centur-ion Atrii, we have Multiarmy Fuwalos, we have 3 Stone Sweepers, we have a Magnemod, we have a Taronir, we have a Duel, we have a Baldrake, we have a Lobelion, we have 3 Nibirus, we have Foolish Burial, we have 3 Resonator Calls, we have 3 Stand-Up Centurion, we have 2 Void Apocalypse, we have 1 Branded Regained here, we have 2 Crimson Guy, we have 2 Called by the Grave, we have a Cross-Out Designator, we have 3 Emblema Oath, we have a Wake Up Centurion, we have 3 Infinite Imperms, we have a Centurion Phalanx, we have a Red Zone, and for the extra deck we have the Red Rising Dragons ×2, a Kui Belt, 2 OD Red Dragon Archfiends, we have a Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend, we have a Scar Red Dragon Archfiend, we have Centurion Primaire Primus, we have Abyss, we have Dissipator, we have Chaos Angel, we have Cosmic Blazer Dragon, we have Red Supernova Dragon, the Goat, we have Crimson Dragon, and we have Auxilla. Now, you copy this list, you're gonna cut Chain Resonator unless you know what you're doing, and probably Atrii. This is not because these are good cards if you know what you're doing, it's just because they are suboptimal but really funny to me, and they do a lot of things I like, so that's why I've chosen to run them. I don't think you can find a single Resonator player that would actually tell you that you should be running Chain Resonator on Atrii, and again, I'm just doing it because it's very entertaining to me to play with them, and it just allows me to do some crazy stuff. Now, what are you replacing it with? You're replacing it with 2 Ghost spells, so there you go. If you desperately want to run Chain Resonator on Atrii, go ahead. Like, it's a game. You're allowed to have fun, right? I just would recommend that you try and keep the unnecessary bricks at a minimum. Like, for me, it's usually Chain Resonator on Atrii, and I try and not go above that number. So if you want to run, like, Flame Crime, Red Rain, you can cut those 2. Like, again, it's a game you can have a bit of fun. It's just I can get to Master 1 with cards like this. And if you think these cards are genuinely good because you've seen me play with them and you want to do stuff I do in my games, then go ahead. Like, it's a game. Try out stuff. You're welcome to try out stuff. Just know that these are not optimal cards. We're gonna be going first here against Crystrons, and as of this moment in time, Crystron is actually the best deck in the game. Literally the only tier 1, like a score of 20 some stuff. It's kind of insane. I know Maliss has been announced, so let's not dabble on possible future, but this video is gonna be out a bit late. I'm sorry for that. Either way, they Fuwalos us, but hey, it could be worse, right? They could have a Maxx, or even worse, they could top deck into a Maxx off of the Fuwalos draw, but that never happens, right? No, it definitely happens. We decide to go for an anti-Nibiru line here by just going into Supernova, because surely, if they had Fuwalos into Maxx, what are the chances that they're just immediately gonna draw into a Nibiru as one of the earliest possible times? Yeah, there you go. That's it. That's what I thought. We will have a way to get back like OD Red Dragon Archfiend if we need it, or we can do the double board wipe, and then we also have the Centurion Phalanx, which is very nice disruption considering all the stuff we just had to deal with here. But hey, they have that line, which means we need to be careful of the Doomed Dragon. Setting Supernova would be a disaster, so we just make sure they get rid of the Sulfanier, hoping that that's all they had, but obviously that's not gonna shut them down completely from Crystron stuff. And here I did this specifically to try and checkmate the Baron, so I would have Red Supernova Dragon's board wipe online, but look, they just have another Sulfanier. Who cares, right? It's just bad show for me, right? Played into Maxx, should have just passed turn and lose anyways, right? And look, they have droplets, so all my work to keep the Supernova Dragon banished is just gone anyways. Now, there's a silver line in here, because Crystron is usually a deck that struggles with OTKing, especially when you have stuff on board. So keep that in mind for the next Crystron game, by the way, because that's gonna be a very important theme in that video. I already know what's happening there, so yeah. Unfortunately, they suck up the Red Supernova Dragon, so yeah, you might wanna, if you know you're playing against Crystron, you might wanna put some stuff in defense instead of attack. Could pay off. Yeah, we just get the Red Dragon Archfiend. We have 2 of them. which is completely fine. It's not like they can really do much against it. My plan here is to attack with both Crimson Gaia, bring back the third, and then get rid of all their stuff. And for that, I actually saved the Soul Resonator here. To be honest, there wasn't really anything else to use it on, because had I used it on the red zone, it would have still been popped. And if let's hypothetically say that I kept the red zone, I wouldn't be able to activate it without triggering all his stuff. So that's something I should have been careful of either way. Anyways, we're planning to go for an Auxilla here. They have an Imperm, which is fine, because we don't actually need Auxilla to get to Crimson Dragon, because we are not locked yet. Which means we can simply get that disrupt, but hey, it's fine, we have this paid out, we can just negate it, so we get the red zone back, which means we are gonna have double Supernova banish for their turn. And on top of that, we're gonna have the Crimson Dragon into Blazar Dragon, and that makes them scoop. So there you go, even though they had Maxx, or well, Fuwalos into Maxx, we won despite them being like the best deck in the game. We're gonna have a very spicy game against Vanquish Soul here, and furthermore, guess what? They have Maxx right there. And I'm considering for a long while what to do here, by the way, because I'm thinking, okay, I could just pass on Scar Red, they have 7 cards, but at that stage, maybe I can just do a bit safer and actually get myself at this paid out that can come back with Regain, and then I can also turn it online with the Soul Resonator being banished at the end phase by protecting it right here, and then I have the Druid's Worm into a potential draw as well for disruption, so we actually have 1 pop, 1 potential destroy on the gate, and then I know I said Vanquish Soul, right, and you see Castile stuff, but yeah, it is actually Vanquish Soul. They're just running a bit of Castile stuff. That might have confused you for a split moment when they added the Rise Heart there. Yeah, they popped that, but it's fine because that's why I set up the Regain for this exact purpose. But hey, it's fine, we have the red zone, we can just bring it back with the red zone, so we have like double protection situation there. That should take care of a lot of their current disruption. Like, they still have the pop anything, so we kind of want to save the Dissipator and return the Soul Resonator to the deck when they try and summon the Caesar. Fine with that. It's a bit sad, but we're fine with it. Do a bit of damage here. This is what we've been waiting for. That's what's the only left thing remaining that I was scared of from them. It was a bit unfortunate. They decided to go for the red zone, which is like probably the worst target they could have gone for. I think going for Crimson Gaia, maybe Regain would have been better, but you know, it was definitely a choice. And all in all, we are kind of fine here. Just get rid of that because that should shut them down from doing a lot of things. Unfortunately, we know they searched this and they have everything they need to do all of those things. Which is fine, because hey, they just special summon, so we just get the Dissipator back. Honestly, I rarely ever see Vanquish Soul, and the probably only reason why they even have a chance is because they have Maxx, you know. It's not a fair matchup for them, but hey, they had the Maxx, they had the Castile stuff, so... Hey, you know what? It's actually an interesting game due to that. I also know that Vanquish Soul is a very fair deck, but I mean, so is Red Dragon Archfiend, so... Let's just keep it fair, right? Not locked yet, he decides to scoop. We would have gotten either Blazar or Supernova Dragon, and we would literally just be able to win the game. And actually I won due to time limit, so it didn't even matter, he just timed out. We're gonna have a very exciting game against the Crystron deck here, and trust me, this game is the most deranged stuff you've probably ever seen, and you'll see why. So first up, we have to play in a way where we do not get access to red zone, which matters a lot because they're actually gonna droplet us for 4, even though we're gonna end on full combo. Our end board is gonna be Scar Red, Auxilla, Abyss, and a Dissipator. So we're just gonna have a very solid board except for the red zone. We can skip ahead to that and just see what happens on their turn. Real quick, if you're wondering how we get Scar Red, we simply just make Kui Belt pop itself, then Crimson Gaia can bring back Scar Red, and then we can go level 8 token into Auxilla. So that's just a play you can do if you want. So here we go, they play Inclusion, and then they go straight for the droplet for 4, as I was talking to you about. They love being in the graveyard, so hey, they want them there. And they get to do so many plays from that. We only really have an Ash Blossom and then the Crimson Dragon into Blazar, which we're going for here. And I will like to say that, yeah, we don't know what the 2 remaining cards is, but we definitely know we need to deal with whatever they're doing here. And at this stage, it's like they don't really have many options left, right, with what we've seen. They just can't do much here. They can go into the Infinite Cyber Dragon, and we're just gonna simply Solemn Judgment them. And you might be like, wow, this is a boring game, you're just bullying a Crystron's deck. They couldn't possibly have 2 cards that can somehow win the game, OTK you, and then because you're gonna win on the crackback, you're gonna get all your monsters back, or however many survive, which is gonna be at least 2, right? And then you're gonna just win the game. Yo, by the way, what's this? Genroku. Yeah, there you go. They are running a Tenpai package. I don't know why they would do that, but hey, it's working for them, so who complains? Yeah, now it's spicy, right? Now this is the craziest game you've ever seen. Instead, what one card, one normal summon and one card can do, isn't it? Yeah, no, that's something. How do I win? Good question, you tell me. So yeah, I decide, since I've already used the Crimson Gaia, that I don't want to use Soul Resonator. It might be more important to save it. And we are kinda just screwed here, aren't we? Like, what can we do? What can we do? Well, we have a window here. We can get Auxilia back. He now has to pop the Auxilia to win the game. We Soul Resonator, easy game. He has to trade in like that, and then there you go, we actually get another turn. So that was incredibly spicy. And he has a Smyga in hand, and then he has the face down, which was the other card he had. Which we don't know what it is, but we know that whatever it is, Cosmic Blazer Dragon takes care of it, so it's not a big deal. Which means that at this stage, yeah, we've won the game and it's less exciting. But for a moment there, that was spicy, and you can't tell me that this game wasn't completely, utterly deranged by them playing Tenpai in their Crystron's deck. You know Crystron's machine lock you from the extra deck, right? Just say, they played in a way where they didn't get machine locked and then they could normal summon Genroku and go for game, right? Absolutely insane. We're gonna be going second here against Fiendsmith Control, and they just get the Drill Beam instantly and then they do the track. Now this is an opportunity where I'm like, well, if I Duiswim here, they can't Bestial extend into 2 bodies if that's what they need. And they already used their normal summon, so they can't really do anything. I mean, sure, they get a drawback, but here's the thing, right? There's nothing in the graveyards they can banish, and they also had to use the Lordly Load there, so they wouldn't be able to use the effects anyways. Yeah, that's a Call by the Grave, but hey, we have a Baldrake, so we just stop that Call by the Grave right there. The Drill Beam, unfortunate, but hey, it's fine. It's fine. We simply try and OTK them. We can add, like, we can do the Bone 1-card combo line, except we can't actually make Dissipator. Because we've already used both the normal summon and the Vision Resonator effect. Yeah, like, I mean, that didn't actually do anything. The problem is we can't OTK them because of the Duiswim now. Very important thing, so I might as well just pass, because else I'll send Abyss, and that's not good, and then we just have to use the Soul Resonator to prevent destruction. Yeah, you know what, that's a good call by the Wave target, in my opinion. Just make sure they don't reset the Drill Beam. Unfortunately, they have Lubellion. Doesn't really matter because they've already used the Regain, right? But hey, they get to shuffle back in. But we're just gonna stop them there. I don't want to give them unnecessary draws. Yeah, and that's why we didn't like the Duiswim, but hey, they went Typhon, and you know what, they're kinda screwed after that. I have Scar Red, I have OG Red Dragon Archfiend, and I don't need to do much to, well... you know, the one thing though, they just added another Duiswim, but... you know what, it's not a big deal when we don't even have Abyss on the field, and they still get that draw from the second Bone Archfiend, which kinda sucks, but hey. Yeah, that's fine. You know what? This is a very good opportunity to go Scarlight, is what I'm thinking here. And I'll also just set the Centurion stuff up for later. Just in case. So yeah, I don't really care what he sends there, and we use the second Soul Resonator to protect the other Red Dragon Archfiends. Big important mistake here is that I'm on the 5th summon with Primera. I should have just kept today out and attack, gone for 7,000 damage and won the game that way. Instead I could have risked playing into an Ibu there, so I feel like just pointing that out. But it's fine. We have enough damage there, and I just go for lethal, but I thought for some reason Primera was the 4th summon and not the 5th, so I was like, ah yeah, let's play around Nibiru. We're gonna be going first here against a Snake Eyes deck, and luckily for us we have the Centurion Giga line. Unfortunately though, they do have hand traps and they're gonna disrupt it, so we have to pivot a bit on the line, and it kinda hurts that we don't get to Primera at all, because they're gonna effect Veiler there. Luckily we can just go into Red Rising. Unfortunately, they're gonna have a Bestial. So that kinda sucks. Okay, we haven't used the normal summon. That's the important thing about the Geek Alliance. They allow you to keep your normal summon for emergencies, which allows them to play around a bunch of stuff. We just decided to do the best possible board we can do, which means that we are gonna grab an Auxilia and a Dissipator here. And then we are also gonna end on essentially full board, except we are not gonna have the centur-ion stuff because we have no real way here to effortlessly end on an Auxilia with an Uvur loop. Best I can do here is to bring back Scarred with the Dissipator and then, yeah, do this, like grab a Phalanx, because at least that's a disruption, right? So this is the best board I could do here. And then we can set up for the grind game, which is fine. Would have been nice to get Supernova or Blazer though, but hey, what can you do? Also, they just have pretty much everything they need. They get rid of the Dissipator immediately, and then they have like, this has got to be one of my least favorite mechanics in the game. Count, by the way, count how many times they're setting stuff in the back row. That's one, even though it was negated, right? That's actually insane how many monsters, because it's a bit like Memento as well, just being able to attack directly. It's kind of, you feel safe that you have these monsters, but they just remove all your monsters through just getting gas for themselves, right? Or whatever it usually is, like the Doom Dragon, the other things they have. It's just they get rid of all your monsters. It doesn't feel good for me anyways. Actually hate that mechanic so much. So that's number 2 set in the back row. And they set Abyss as well, that's another. And don't you worry, they're going for the Doom Dragon as well. They are intentionally trying to get rid of the Phalanx, which I obviously have to use. I think, oh, I can bring back the Abyss, it'll land on my field, but no, he knows what I'm up to, so he just disrupts it. And you know what? Now we can go into Doom Dragon and set my last, well, another monster in the back row, right? So that's fun. And you can get rid of the last one as well with the Fiendsmith, right? So that's 5 monster removal just through engine without like giving up anything really except for the subversion, right? So that would be well, but then also again they have that, right? That's another one. Look, they did the SP to get, like, they got rid of that, but hey, at least I get it back during the end phase, right? My point is just how absurd the Fiendsmith together with all the Snake Eyes stuff, and then exactly if they're also running Subversion, how absurd that actually is to be up against. Just all my stuff is in the back row, right? It's kind of crazy. And then they made an Apollo as well, which means I have to go immediately battle phase and get rid of it. But unfortunately they also just have the Flame Bird, so they just take the Abyss. Just like that. I was gonna see if I could quickly flip all their stuff, but no, of course not. But at least I've baited out everything except for the Abyss. He actually try and be smart, and I'm like, ah, okay, surely he'll negate Auxilia, right? Because that's dangerous. Yeah, of course he did. But that allows us to actually do some plays here, so I don't mind. Maybe there was an argument to prevent Auxilia from being negated, I guess, but here we go. Getting back the Abyss to the graveyard, didn't want to let him have that on the field. We're also banishing it so we can return it with the red zone. And I'm doing something a bit stupid here because I filled up my board, right? And I realized, wait, I can just make Supernova Dragon, and I kind of want to make Supernova Dragon. Auxilia's, you know, negated anyway, so... like, why not? Why not just make Supernova Dragon, and then I can get Abyss back from Banish with the red zone. And then me, being dumb sometimes with the red zone, thinks that, ah yeah, Supernova is double Banish because I have red zone, right? It's like, my brain disconnects it from the fact that, oh, I use red zone to bring back Abyss here. And to be honest, that was a very premature Abyss, because now they do this, and like, what was the point, right? Like, yeah, I got rid of all their board, which is kind of good, all things considered. But also, I just set them up like that, which is unfortunate. And then, again, yeah, they just grab the Subversion, and there you go. Kinda sucks. That gives them full access to Fiendsmith stuff, so... maybe a bit of a misplay. Should have definitely saved the red zone, but then maybe they would have gone for the negate, right? That was what I was thinking, that... then they would just have had a negate. So I use Supernova, and then what, right? I don't know if it was the wrong play or the right play, but definitely very close to death. Considering that I survived, I would say I did the right play there. Getting rid of the Flame Birch. And just the fact, again, like, I'm alive, I have 1600 HP, it's enough, I can go for game now. I would say I did the right play, but hey. We just simply get Abyss back, and then we do the Soul Resonator, and they scoop because they've seen enough. And they know that I would just lethal them there. We're gonna be going second here against Blue Eyes. Luckily we have Maxx. Unluckily it is in fact Blue Eyes, which means that they don't need to special summon much. And they just seem to just have everything as well. So you know, that's really cool. Decide to stop them from summoning the Blue Eyes from the graveyard. Now that is used, and that makes the Majesty worse as well. And yeah, I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm not letting the Majesty, I'm removing the stuff here. Oh yeah, fair is fair. I did Maxx them, even though my deck desperately just loses to playing into Maxx normally, and their deck can just fine play into Maxx, you know. Instant effect Veiler, very unfortunate. Best I can do Chaos Angel and try and get rid of True Light, but no, he has another effect Veiler as well, of course. Of course. We're gonna be looking for potentially OTK here, because, I mean, they've already used 2 effect Veilers, right? What are the chances that they get something else? And at this stage I just see, yeah, we have to go for it before they get any view, and there you go. Nice, quick and simple. We're gonna be going second here against the Tearlament deck. Luckily we have a Saronir, so it's not the end of the world. Unfortunately they do have a Snow in the graveyard now. They decide to stop our Bestial summoning, which is honestly fine, because that means I can use it on their turn, and I don't really care that they got rid of the Crimson Dragon. Worst case, this beta can like get it back at some point, so it's not the worst deal, like back in the extra deck. They go for the Fiendsmith stuff, and they try and send this to mill more cards. They desperately want to hit Sharon, because they've already used Happiness. They do have 2 Sharon in the deck, so good chances of hitting it, all things considered, especially when they're milling 5 here. Luckily they whiffed. They do add Crime, so we need to keep that in mind, and they get back the Tearlaments Castera, so they can use Crime, so we need to be careful of that. Unfortunately that means Primera's ban is face down. Luckily I play Atrii, so it's not the end of the world. Gonna bait out the Snow with the Saronir. They know we already have the Saronir, right? So might as well just bait it out. And this is where I'm so happy I do his Realm. Otherwise I would have to make a different play line and just play around. Maybe they draw a Tearlament or what, or mill a Tearlament. We have to do this to make sure that Crime is non-line, so we can actually also do our play, which is special summon Crimson Resonator. Otherwise we wouldn't even be able to do that, right? So it was kind of a multi-way approach that worked out really well for us. Okay, so we make Abyss, and then we're gonna try and set up the best possible board we can, which is gonna be probably Dissipator and Auxilla and then a Scar Red. That's at least what I'm aiming for at this moment. So Soul Resonator will pretty much get us hooked up with a Scarlight actually, because we've already used the Scar Red, right? So I can now pop the field because both of these monsters are high attack, so they don't get affected, and he decides to actually use the Fiendsmith effect, which means, oh yeah, we can just get Crimson Dragon back. So now Crimson Dragon is on the table. We had Duel in the graveyard, so we could make Auxilla and go for Today and Atrii in the back row, and then we would have Crimson Dragon, and obviously he surrenders. We're gonna be going first against the Labrinth deck here. They have an Ash Blossom for the sweeper, which is kind of unfortunate, but hey, we have Crimson Resonator. Now, there is a bit of a problem here, and that is Imperm shuts down my turn completely. So that was Ash Imperm shuts down my turn with the hand I had. Just sometimes happen. Like if I had a field spell instead of Primera, I could do some plays, but sets 2, not too worried, but I do see the sleeves, and it turns out, yes, it is in fact Labrinth. Speaking of the field spell, by the way, fortunately Impulse, and it destroys because he has the Imperm, right? We just set Soul Resonator on defense, we still kind of bricked because of that whole thing. Doesn't seem like he has anything dangerous yet, so Bone Archfiend, phenomenal draw actually. I think I normal summon Bone Archfiend because then I can go for this. He uses rollback to, well, both get it in the graveyard, and my Imperm is now used against me. Okay, I'm just trying to set up some stuff, and then I'm figuring that Auxilla is probably the best possible play here. Just get some recursion going. And there's another Impulse, of course. At least it doesn't get destroyed this time because of Auxilla being there, but there you go. Might have been better to level up the Soul Resonator, all things considered, and then Necro Valley completely shuts down this as well. Oh yeah, he just said it on my turn, yeah. This puts me in a very bad spot. Luckily, I think he's planning to get rid of the Necro Valley now that he's cleared out my board, right? Yep. Not like we had a Scar Red or anything. That's pretty dangerous. Adding a Soul Resonator before they decide to destroy stuff, maybe even try and bait something. Unfortunate for me, but we can do some stuff here. Just triggering a massive chain, by the way. Fortunately, they just do the rollback for that. Yeah, that's impermanent on the guy as well. We still have Bone Archfiend, so it's fine. But hey, look what they just did. Yep, there you go. And he destroys the Dissipator. We simply just banish it, and then we try and go for a Scar Light here, and he's so low on HP now that we can just finish him. So yeah, those rollbacks really caught up with him, to be honest. We're gonna be going second here against Floodgate, as you can see, so that's pretty doomed already. My only hope is that they somehow, some way play into Nibiru, so I at least stand a chance. That's definitely what I'm coping about here, but like, who would be dumb enough with Floodgate to do 5 summons? Like, why wouldn't you play around Nibiru with Floodgate? Look, that is when you stop. You don't need to play anything else, right? Like, you're done. That's it, right? Oh my god, he's playing more. At this stage, I'm like, yep, okay, we're gonna Nibiru. That's gonna be fun. There you go. Have fun. And he has a triple attack, and that's Featherstorm. Luckily, he doesn't have a monster, but as soon as I normal summon, he gets it. And this hand needs to normal summon, unfortunately. And obviously, he also has this, so now he has one. That means, honestly, he should activate the Featherstorm. I think that because I have Centurions, he doesn't want to activate the Featherstorm just yet, because he wants to save it for his turn, so I can't do stuff on his turn. But you see, here's the issue, right? He might be thinking ahead like that and might think that he can deal with what I have with his stuff that he's about to get off, right? Like, thinks that's gonna be fine. But here's the thing. He forgets that Primera Primus can pop. I don't think he knows about it. And he thinks, ah yeah, flip, there you go. Problem solved, didn't need to use that, can ensure my own turn with it. And honestly, I just pop it there. There you go. Now it's out of the picture, now I can actually win the game. Easy game, actually. So easy. Holy moly, it's easy game. One problem, though. He has Maxx. Yeah. Also, he's flipped my board once, right? Yeah, he just decided to flip it again. Okay, we still have the RDA line. I was dumb enough to summon Bone Archfiend in attack when they have Empen on the field. So I was like, wait, why can't I do it? Oh, okay, it's fine. We can just adapt. Easy game. This time, remember the defense. And now the play is just to chain lock Scar Red, so I pop his field. There we go, and we have lethal damage on board, and we just go for game. So, slight bit of a misplay, but hey, it turned out just fine. Here we go. Nice and quick, easy game. Opponent should have really activated that Featherstorm, but I'll take it. We have Fuwalos, and we are going against Tearlaments here. We are going second, of course. What else would you expect? It's either something incredibly spicy or we are going second. That tends to be the formula for these replays. Else it doesn't make it to the replay. Now, there's a quick thing I actually want to talk about. Dark Ruler No More, you might have been like, we've barely seen anything from Dark Ruler No More. That's because every time I've been in a state where Dark Ruler No More pays off, the game is so easy that I just win on the spot, essentially. Because I get to full free play and essentially wipe up the board. It's rare where it's like a situation where they still have some disruption and there's some skill expression coming in. So, to be honest, games with Dark Ruler No More winning it is not interesting, generally speaking. So I feel like that's probably why there's a distinct lack of Dark Ruler No More, if you're wondering. I don't know if I have a single replay that actually has Dark Ruler No More doing stuff in it. But it's just if you're wondering why, why is Dark Ruler No More in your deck? It's not doing anything, right? Okay, they're doing all of this stuff I've been talking. We still have the Bone Archfiend line, and we're just gonna go for it. We baited out just about everything they had, except for obviously that, which is incredibly annoying, because now we don't have the Dissipator access. Well, we go Scarlet, I mean, and then we go for the pop of the field, just like so. Well, do we even do that? Yeah, we do. Fortunately, that means they can now shuffle back in. They get that as well, very annoying. We just have to end like this. I made sure to attack with the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss so that it's like stays in the board. There goes his Omni Negate very annoyingly. Gets to Millabunch. We're gonna make sure that goes away so he can't just attack for game. Yeah, okay, he gets full Fiendsmith engine. 2 Fiends, yep, Engraver and Lurry, sure. Yep, no, that's fair. No, that's completely fair. Holy moly. Yeah, and there's a Disarray. And there's a Agnumde, which means now we can attack over the Abyss. And there goes the guy as well. Perfect. Decided to not crash in his Kaleido Heart, so we're good with the OG Red Dragon Archfiend. And honestly, that's very nice for us to just get rid of that real quick. We can try and go for Chain Resonator here and set up some stuff. Don't need the Today anymore, so we just simply do this. We can do Dissipator, and then with the Rule Loop in the graveyard, we can get back Abyss if we need to. Just like that. Now we have Abyss as well. We do need Belt to pop. Like, it's not protected from targeting protection, so we might as well get rid of it. And then we have the Dissipator to negate the effect sending from field. Just like so. When we go battle phase, it's gonna flip that, destroy it. Does come back, which is slightly annoying. And then it can shuffle back in a card and we have to end the phase. But hey, we just summoned Dissipator again. Wrong choice. Definitely did the wrong choice. But I mean, either way I would have had Dissipator, which should be enough to just negate him from playing. Yeah, not gonna let him do the scream. Goes for the Fiendsmith stuff again, but honestly we just... I mean, we just have Dissipator, right? Like, what's he gonna do? We still have Abyss Negate as well. Yeah, at that stage, that's a good time to just pop it. Don't care that he sends Abyss. Oh, not Abyss, the Dissipator. Because I have Red Zone and all the recursion, and yeah, he realizes he's just lost this game. Since we brought up Dark Ruler No More, I went through my replays, I found 2 replays with Dark Ruler No More. So I actually had some replays with it that I decided to save. And this game, I recall that this shouldn't actually have made it into the replay, but it just is here to showcase exactly why Dark Ruler No More games are like they are. So I thought I cut it, but no, actually it's very good that I kept it, just because it showcases that they're popping off, but hey, Dark Ruler No More, no matter pretty much whatever they have, Dark Ruler No More will just take care of it. As long as they don't have Prom Princess that can pop something, then, you know, they basically have nothing on the board, right? I'm gonna take everything else out with the Dark Ruler. So here we just decide this is a good place to just... Saonia, I obviously don't want him to go too far, right? Can't let him have too much fun. And then he goes for SP Little Knight to stop my search with the Wild Wind, because I would have done that anyways, you know. But we have Gaia, so it doesn't really matter. And then he decides to go for the Disarray. So yeah, I use Dark Ruler No More here, and he has no negates, no nothing, and we just win the game. So it kind of just showcases exactly why Dark Ruler No More is hard to get replays with, because if it works, it just wins you the game, and if it doesn't work, then you probably lost the game anyways, you know. But there you go, he sees I have full combo and he scoops. So very nice demonstration of Dark Ruler No More. Branded, right, going second, we have the Dark Ruler No More. And Branded is one of the decks that can actually do plays after they've been Dark Ruler No More, depending on what they have. So that's something very important to keep in mind. That's why this game also got specifically saved. And they go for the Albion. We don't have any hand traps either, by the way, so we can't really disrupt them. And we just have to rely on the Dark Ruler No More to shut down most of it and then play through the rest of it. And that's basically what I'm thinking at this stage. They have a natural Mercury on hand, which is very annoying. just not what we are hoping for here. And then at the end phase, I'm like, yeah, branded in red, we just call by the Graveyard and it's fine. But no, they actually do the worst possible thing for me, which is branded Retribution, which sets up that they can branded Fusion again, which means we actually have to do stuff here. Dark Ruler no more, just so I don't get my stuff banished. And then I'm hoping that they would Retribution the Crimson Resonator, which they did not. So now at this stage I need to do that, else Bone Archfiend won't go through when I go there, or maybe they'll stop something else, right? Unfortunately, the Mercuria that they naturally had just stops that. Which means now I have to use the Bone Archfiend, right? So yeah, this is where they decide to use the brand of Retribution, which really just sucks. And then they set up that they could technically win Broomback and make a Mirror Jade, but I don't think they want to because I have a Scar Red. But now it's like too late. Now they have to wait until my next turn before they can do it. Unless there was some like restriction for why it couldn't summon the Fallen of Albaz. I'm not entirely sure why the opponent wouldn't do it there. And this play I'm so proud of. We just grab ourselves a branded regain like this, so we have some inevitability, and then we go straight into Kuibel to pop the branded loss, which is overall a really nice play, and we also get to get back Scar Red here. And then the cope of getting something back there, but no, doesn't work. You actually need to deal the damage. Now the opponent is in a bit of a bad situation, because we have branded regain. If he banishes a monster, we have Bestial Dissipator as well, and honestly maybe there's an argument for why not using Dissipator here save it, but I feel pretty confident, especially because Albion is staying out, so I can negate the Lubellion if I need to. Not a big deal. Now it is a bit of a problem that he has two different fusions, but look, I'm fine with that. I was gonna negate it if it was a Lubellion, right? But then there's the Brandon White instead, and then we negate that, and there you go. A bit of a throw maybe to use the Dissipator when I did, but I felt like I was already gonna win at that stage, even if he summoned a Mirror Jade. I had the grind game established, the game was pretty much won at that stage, mostly because of the Dark Ruler no more. We start off by just Fuwalosing here, we're obviously going second as you can see, and it's a Mermail deck, so I'm very happy I got the Fuwalos, because that means at least they won't go into the extra deck, and we might still get a few draws, but they're definitely gonna hand rip me. And I'm hoping that they get rid of the Vision Resonator and the Wandering King Wildwind, so I have plays, and then if they have something nasty on board, I can Dark Ruler no more it. Unfortunately, they just peek at my... I hate they can do that. That should literally not be allowed. And they also need to get rid of the other one that just hand loops you for 2, right? Like that. Those two definitely need to just be banished immediately. Anyways, they actually just have the Abyss Dweller, so that's very annoying. And then they hit the Bone Archfiend, which means now Bone Archfiend is dead because they're gonna Abyss Dweller. There is a cope that I'll just be able to Dark Ruler no more them from the get-go, and they don't activate them, but obviously they activate it. Well, why wouldn't they? So now Dark Ruler no more doesn't do anything. A good case of where Dark Ruler no more just won't do anything. We have Primary Primus, and then they draw on Lockbird, which just completely suck. We have to grab the field spell as a result. We can't do anything else, and then, yeah, Dark Ruler no more served its purpose. And then they have a Nibiru. Of course they have a Nibiru. Draw on Nibiru. Yep. So now it's a pretty doomed game, wouldn't you say? They also get rid of the field spell, so we can't do anything about that, really. And honestly, it's looking pretty doomed here. Pretty doomed. The main thing is that they can actually not attack us, because they played that, like, hand loops me for 2, this one. This Elemental Lord makes it so that they skip the next battle phase. So that's the only silver lining I have, and even if they had the battle phase, this is kind of immune to it. So they get to set up a board, which makes this game suddenly a whole lot more interesting, wouldn't you say? Yeah, they have to end here because they can't do the battle phase, and this actually allows me to do some plays. And they realize that, yeah, that's gonna be too much with the Centur-ion also in the back row, and he knows I have the field spell, right, so he decides to surrender there. I think he definitely misplayed, but I'm not sure exactly where. I'm just happy that, you know, that I won this game against Mermail, and that the Fuwalos actually limited them to that degree. We're gonna be going first here against an actual Millennium deck. Unfortunately for us, our hand is very much fragile, and we don't really have any extension tools, and they just Fuwalosed us, so... I have some decisions to make. Do I play into Fuwalos and then go for a Supernova just in case they get a Nibiru? And honestly, I do. Why not? Just go play into it. They should honestly have saved the Ash Blossom for the Crimson Resonator, but no, we just do. And it didn't matter anyway, so I was gonna search Red Zone, right? So we're just fine. Just got the Ash Eden for free and allow ourselves to extend fully the way we want to. Got this beta here, and then we can set up an Auxilla if we want to. But there's another Fuwalos, so I'm actually, like, I should have done the Supernova there, to be honest, because if they had just changed the Nibiru, which they clearly had, then yeah, they would have taken out the Supernova. I should have waited for the Nibiru to actually do it, and then they Super Pulley. So to be honest, it didn't matter. It honestly did not matter, because they just had Super Pulley anyways. And at this stage, I'm ready to, like, pop the Dark if they target the Supernova, but they didn't. D-Fissure, very annoying. I'm seeing what they're trying to do here, and I'll just imperm them on the resolution of that, toggle on and everything. And then they go into a Typhon, which honestly I'm fine with. I'll just take out the Dimensional Fissure so I can actually play properly. And he sets 2. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking, because if he had the Nibiru, I was thinking he would have already used it, so I just want to get Supernova off the field so he's safe. That was how my thinking was, but honestly I was playing a dangerous game there. Not that it really changed anything. Now I'm doing an insane read here by saving the Bone Archfiend for later, and then I'm going for the pop there. He had no way of actually using Super Pulley there with what he had left, and he scoops as soon as he sees I got rid of that Super Pulley for him. So I've saved one of the more exciting replays for last, probably one of the better replays in the video. I'm not entirely sure, you can make up the judgment yourself. And it is a Maxx game, yes. And this time I'm actually in a state where I'm like, no, it's fine to just pass on a minimal board into Maxx. There you go, that's the Maxx. We do the 2D, but unfortunately we had to get rid of Primera, so we have to set Atrii, but Atrii is set up to give us a draw, so it's fine. And at this stage I'm fine passing. They're gonna have exactly 7 cards, and we have so many disruptions that it's fine. But look, they literally Fuwalos Maxx. It's like, come on. Like, why? So this puts me in a state where I want to imperm here because I want to stop them from playing. I saw them normal summon, so they used the normal summon. Figured that meant that they were locked out of possible plays, and then I also red zone there because, again, I don't want to play into using my stuff to... They just get draws, right? That's the issue. Luckily, Atrii draws me into a Maxx, but of course they have Ash Blossom, right? Out of the very minimal cards they have Fuwalos, 2 Maxx, and an Ash Blossom. Plus all the engines they need, right? Just classic. And then he forces me to use the Magnemod here to save the fact that I can actually prevent myself from being lethal, because I know Fiendsmith, Snake Eyes, Millenium are very good at lethaling, and I need the bodies on the board to survive, which just leads to him getting all the draws. So it's a complete disaster. Everything backfired on me here, just because he had the Fuwalos Maxx situation on his own turn. Actually insane. And this wouldn't happen if he just had one Maxx, right? The fact that he had Maxx for both turns out of Fuwalos, that's the issue that I'm running into. So yeah, he gets to do literally everything his deck wants to do. Just without any contest. Just everything he wants to do is his. Very, very frustrating when I tried to make sure that he couldn't play early enough. And again, I wouldn't have played in the way I did if it wasn't for the fact that he used the Maxx and Fuwalos on his own turn. Very inoptimal playstyle of trying to shut them down early instead of hitting chokes, right? But hey, at least I'm gonna survive, and I also assume that he's very low on time, all things considered. So he tried to end the game, and that also backfired on him. But I'm very confident that he's low on time if memory serves. I have to give him another draw there because I know LTL Disarray negated, so I need to just get it on the field. But yeah, despite being low on time, he's playing through this, which means that he's gonna be low on time on my turn, and I'm kinda having a feeling that he doesn't have much time. Probably less than a minute left. But despite all of that, he still sets up all of this, like, insane stuff. And he gets the SP Little Knight to banish my stuff. So how do we play into this? Because we have literally nothing, right? Literally nothing. Well, we have the red zone, but that's a Prom Princess. Yeah, just get stuff on the board. That's an Apollo. Very, very annoying. So we're doing something very interesting here by chain locking, because else he could cancel and Apo negate the send. So we get rid of the Apo like that, but then obviously he has another Ash Blossom, right? Why wouldn't he have everything? Why wouldn't he have just everything? 2 Maxx's, a Fuwalos, and 2 Ash Blossoms, right? And a Duel, by the way. Just, if you didn't think he had enough, he also had a Duel. We're trying to set up literally anything. Also, I should have sent the Auxil. I don't know why I sent the other Crimson guy. I don't know what's wrong with me, to be honest. That was definitely a misplay. But honestly, isn't it understandable? I'm mega tilted at this stage. Mega tilted. Okay, we at least get the Scar Red back, so that's fine. He sets it, but then feel like might as well pop it. Again, very aware that due to the Maxx having all of these play lines and all the plays he's done, he's low on time. He decides he needs to go for the battle phase here, and he can't really get past the Lobelian. He also is out of stuff in his extra deck, and he can't really reach the extra deck with the Promethean Princess in the field, right? He doesn't really have any access to what he needs as long as Promethean Princess is on the field, and also his extra deck is just empty at this stage. So there are many factors in why he's just not able to win the game. We just decide to get a draw here, and then we make Abyss. Battle phase, good enough. I don't want to get rid of his Promethean Princess because it's clearly stopping him from place, and here we go, Bestial Despater. And we can bring back to there, which means we can make a Scarlight. And I don't even want to pop the board because it would take out my own Auxilia, and then it would also, you know, get rid of the Promethean Princess. He's already used the negate now and didn't do anything, so you know, we're just looking good here. Simply bring back Scarlight anyways. Doom Dragon again. Yeah, we just decide to negate that, honestly. That gets us Atrii going, which means now we can set up Supernova or whatever we need to. And they decide to scoop because we have literally everything we need and they're kind of out of place, honestly. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this final replay for anybody that stuck around this long. And I hope to see you again next time.